Hi everyone. So in this presentation session, we shall try to understand what actually is a FIFO. So as we had already seen, FIFO is a form of an IPC. What is IPC? Inter-process communication. So we can use FIFO in order to use for establishing connection between two processes. So through FIFO, the two processes can exchange messages. So your FIFO can sometimes be called as named pipes. So we had already saw what is a pipe. Your FIFO can be called as named pipes. So and also there were some limitations with respect to pipes. Pipes can only be used when both those processes which are communicating had a common ancestor, but it won't be a problem with respect to FIFO. You can use FIFO even between processes which do not have a common ancestor. So this is how you can create a FIFO file. So once you create a FIFO file, using this particular file, the two processes can communicate with each other, or I can say the parent and child can communicate with each other using this FIFO you are trying to create. So what actually you are passing? You are passing two information: the path name where you want the FIFO file to be created and the mode in which the FIFO file has to be created. So in our module 3 itself, we saw how we can create a FIFO file by using an API called as MKFIFO. So using this API, you can create a FIFO file, and the mode represents in which mode you need to create a FIFO file. So the major mode you can use is non-block and blocking mode. So we shall try to see what is non-block mode and what is block mode. So if a FIFO file is successfully created, then it will return 0, otherwise it will return 1. So once we have used MKFIFO to create a FIFO file, we need to open the FIFO file using Open API. So once it has been opened, it can be used for communication between two processes. So when we open a FIFO file, we can open our FIFO file in two modes. The non-blocking flag, this will decide in which mode we are opening the FIFO file. So in normal case, if O non-block is not specified, that means if it is set to 0, non-block is set to 0. So then if you are trying to open a file for read only, if you are trying to open a file for read only, then if some other process is as opened that particular for writing, as opened the FIFO for writing, then this particular process gets blocked. So if a process is trying to read a FIFO file, but it is opened by some other file, some other process for writing, then this process gets blocked. Similarly, if a process opens a FIFO for writing, but if some other process is reading the FIFO, then this process gets blocked. In order to avoid this, you are going to specify your own non-block to 1. In that case, if a process is trying to read, then if some other process is writing, then it returns immediately. Similarly, if a process is writing a FIFO file, if some other process is reading, then it will return back immediately. So this is how you can avoid the blocking of a process when it is accessing a FIFO file. So there are two major uses of your FIFO file. The two major uses are: your FIFO can be used in order to pass data from one shell pipeline to another. That means if you want to pass a data from one pipe to another pipe without using any temporary file, then you can make use of FIFO. This is the first major usage. So if you're using two different pipes, you're passing data from one pipe to another pipe without using any temporary file, you can make use of FIFO. And the other one is it can be used in client server communication. So if you're passing data between your client and servers, then you can make use of FIFO. There are some examples here in order to see how the client and servers are going to communicate with each other. That communication then takes place through FIFO. So you are having examples of how client and servers can communicate with each other that we are going to see as we proceed with the presentation session. As you can see, so far what we saw, your FIFO is called as named pipe. So it is mainly used to overcome the limitation of pipe. So you can create a FIFO file by passing the path name of where to create your FIFO file and the mode in which you need to create the FIFO file. non-block mode or blocking mode. It has two major uses. So FIFO can be used to duplicate output stream. That means a FIFO can be used to duplicate an output stream in a series of shell commands. This prevents writing the data to an intermediate disk file. Suppose if you want a output of a particular command to be copied into two separate programs, you can directly do it without using any intermediate file. So as you can see, consider a procedure that needs to process a filtered input stream twice. Figure 15.20 shows this arrangement. This program 1 needs to be processed twice. Then through a FIFO file, you can directly pass to this particular programs. Procedure that processes a filtered input stream twice. With a FIFO and Unix program, we can accomplish this procedure without using a temporary file. Without using any temporary file and FIFO file and T program, this can be accomplished. Let us see how we can accomplish this. So as you can see, you'll get clear understanding when you see this particular picture. So first, the T program copies its standard input to both its standard output and to the file named on its command line. As you can see, so first what is actually happening, this particular FIFO file is having access to this program 3. Okay, this particular FIFO file is having access to program 3. So the input file, the data from the input file has been read to program 1. So this program 1 is getting executed by reading input from this particular file. So the output that you are getting from this particular program is given to T command. This T command will pass on the output to FIFO file as well as program 2. So instead of using an intermediate disk file, we are using the FIFO file here. So your FIFO file then ultimately will pass on the output to program 3. So now using a FIFO and a T command, we are sending a stream from program 1 to two different processes, which is program 3 and program 2. That is what has been explained here. So first you created a FIFO file. So this is the command you need to use. mkfifo is the command you need to use in order to create a FIFO file. After FIFO file has been created, your FIFO file is pointing to program 3. So your FIFO file is pointing to program 3. Then I am reading contents from an input file. I am reading contents from the input file. From the input file content has been read into program file. The output of this particular command is given to T command. Your T command will pass on the output to FIFO 1 and program 2. FIFO and program 2. Your FIFO will pass on the output to program 3. Now, without using any temporary file, you are passing the output stream from program 1 to program 3 and program 2, two different processes. This is the first use of your FIFO file. Then we shall try to see the next usage, that is how using FIFO file, the client and server can communicate with each other. Client server communication using a FIFO. FIFO can be used to send data between a client and a server. If a server that is contacted by numerous clients, usually that will be the case. There will be a single server. That server will be contacted by many number of clients. Each client will write its request. The client will send its request to the server. The server will respond. Each client will write its request to a FIFO file. That particular FIFO file is called as a well-known FIFO that the server create. That server will create that particular FIFO file. All the client will write the request to that particular well-known FIFO. Since there are multiple writers for FIFO, that means there will be many clients who will be writing to that particular well-known FIFO. The request sent by the clients to the server needs to be less than pipe underscore buffer bytes in size. That means this FIFO will have a limited size that will be specified in pipe underscore buffer variable. So it can accept only a limited number of requests from the client. So all these clients will be writing their request to this particular well-known FIFO. The server will read the request. So this prevents any interleaving of the client trains. The problem is using FIFO for this type of client-server computation is how to send replies back from server to client, because all the requests will be written into this particular FIFO file. Then how will the server come to know for which client it needs to respond? So the server, when it is responding to a corresponding request, the server needs to know the client name, to which client it has to send the reply. For that, we are using this particular solution. What is that solution? A single FIFO can't be used, as the clients would never know when to read their response versus responses for other clients. What actually happens? Your server responds with a reply, but your client won't know whether the response is for that particular client, because there will be many clients which would have sent requests. So whenever a server responds with the reply, the client won't be knowing whether that particular reply is for that client. So that's why we cannot make use of a single FIFO. That is what has been stated here. A single FIFO can't be used, as the clients would never know when to read their response whether versus responses for other clients. One solution is for each client to send its process ID with the request. Each client will send a process ID with its request. The server then creates a unique FIFO. For each client, it will create a FIFO file using a path name based on the client process ID. So whenever a client is writing request to a FIFO file, along with the request it is sending, it will send its process ID. So when the server is sending a response, it will send the response to the client with a newly created FIFO corresponding to that process ID. It will create a path name of that particular client, then it will send the response to that particular client. For example, the server can create a FIFO with a name. This is the path name. This is the process ID. VTU, sir, where XXX is replaced with the client process ID. So, for example, is 12345. So, VTU, sir, 12345. For this particular client, the server reply will be sent. This arrangement works, although it is impossible for the server to tell whether a client crashes. This causes client-specific FIFO to be left in file system. But suppose a client has requested something and then the client has crashed. Then if the server sends the reply, the server won't know whether the client has crashed. So at that time, the server must be in a position to catch that particular signal. Since it's possible for a client to send a request and terminate before reading the response, leaving the client specific FIFO with one writer and no reader. At that particular point, what will happen? The server has responded, but there is no client to read that particular response. So that will be a problem. So how client server communication can happen? There is a well-known FIFO. For this well-known FIFO, the client will send the request, your server will respond, but at that time the client won't be knowing whether the response is for that particular client. In order to avoid this, the client will send the process ID along with the request. Then the server will respond by establishing a path along with the process ID with a newly created FIFO file. But if a client crashes after sending request, the server won't know that the client has crashed. At that time, the response from the server will remain in the system itself. This will be a problem. So as you can see, this is how the process will happen. The client will send the request along with the process ID into the well-known FIFO. The server will read the request, then it will generate the reply, then it will write the reply to the client specific FIFO. This will contain the path name along with the process ID. Thereby the client will be correctly able to read the response from read the reply from the server. But the only problem is, if the client crashes, the server won't know that the client has crashed, so that any reply from the server will remain in the system without being read by the client. So these are all things you need to remember with respect to FIFO file. So what is FIFO? It is used for IPC, inter-process communication. They are also called as named pipes. So it is used to overcome the limitation of pipes. So this is how you can create a FIFO file in two different modes. The two major uses are to send the data to two different processes without using a temporary file. As you can see here, with the help of T command, we are sending the output from program 1 to program 3 and program 2 without using any temporary file. The next one is to accept requests from the client, from many clients, and to send response to each of the clients using client specific FIFO. So in our next presentation session, we shall try to start with one more type of IPC, which is called as message queue, that we are going to cover in our next presentation session. Thank you.